And that wraps up our study session for the New York CDL test. Knowing this information thoroughly is crucial for passing your exam and becoming a safe, compliant commercial driver in New York. Ride safe. Hey everyone, it's Frank, and today we're going to tackle some key questions for the Mississippi Class D license test. Whether you're aiming for a standard driver's license or a light commercial one, understanding these rules is essential for safe driving in Mississippi. Let's begin. What does a solid yellow line on your side of the center line mean? You are not permitted to pass. This line indicates a no passing zone for traffic on your side. All right, what's next? What is the maximum speed limit on rural interstate highways in Mississippi, unless otherwise posted? 70 miles per hour. Always adhere to posted speed limits, but this is the general maximum. Moving on. What does a flashing red traffic light mean? Stop, yield the right of way, and proceed. Treat it like a stop sign. So what's next? When driving, how much space should you maintain between your vehicle and the vehicle in front of you under ideal conditions? A safe following distance, e.g., 2-second rule. More space means more time to react and stop safely. Next on our list, what is the legal blood alcohol concentration BAC limit for drivers 21 years of age or older in Mississippi? 0.8%. Driving with a BAC at or above this limit is illegal. Okay, what's after this? What does a white painted curb indicate? Reserved for picking up or dropping off passengers or mail. This is a temporary stop zone. Let's move on. What should you do if your vehicle begins to hydroplane? Ease your foot off the gas pedal, keep the steering wheel straight, and allow the vehicle to slow down. Avoid sudden braking or steering to regain traction. What about this next one? When are you permitted to make a left turn on a red light in Mississippi? Never, unless turning from a one-way street onto another one-way street where permitted. Generally, left on red is restricted. On to the next question. What does a no passing zone sign typically look like? A yellow pennant-shaped sign on the left side of the road. It warns you of an upcoming no passing zone. Moving forward, what is the purpose of ABS, anti-lock braking system, in a vehicle? To help you maintain steering control during hard braking by preventing the wheels from locking up. ABS helps you steer out of trouble while braking. Let's consider the next one. What is the correct action if you're approaching a stopped school bus with flashing red lights on a 2-lane road? Stop at least 10 feet from the bus and remain stopped until the lights stop flashing and the bus resumes motion. This is critical for child safety. And the next point. What does a broken white line on the roadway indicate? Separates 2 lanes traveling in the same direction and passing is allowed. You can change lanes when it's safe. What's next? What should you do if an emergency vehicle approaches you with its lights and sirens on? Pull over to the right edge of the roadway and stop. Yield the right of way to emergency vehicles. Moving on to this. When are headlights required in Mississippi? From a half hour after sunset to a half hour before sunrise, and at any other time when visibility is limited to 500 feet or less. Ensure you're visible when light is low. All right, let's see. What does a yield sign mean? Slow down and be prepared to stop if necessary to allow traffic already on the roadway to proceed. You must give way to others. What's after this? What is the safest way to change lanes? Check mirrors, signal, check blind spot, and then change lanes smoothly. This sequence ensures you're aware of surrounding traffic. Next question. What should you do if you are involved in an accident? Stop immediately, render aid, protect the scene, and exchange information. Safety first, then responsible actions. Let's get to this one. What does a diamond-shaped road sign typically indicate? Warning of a potential hazard or road condition. These signs alert you to upcoming dangers. Okay, what's next? What is the minimum age to get a learner's permit in Mississippi? 15 years old. This is the first step towards getting your driver's license. Moving on. What does a green arrow traffic light mean? You may turn in the direction of the arrow provided the intersection is clear. It's a protected turn, but always check for safety. So what's next? What should you do if you miss your exit on a highway? Continue to the next exit and turn around safely. Never back up or make sudden moves on a highway. Next on our list, what does it mean if you see a slow-moving vehicle sign on the rear of a vehicle? The vehicle is traveling at 25 miles per hour or less. Be prepared to slow down or pass with caution. Okay, what's after this? What is the primary purpose of seatbelts? To protect you from serious injury or death in a crash. Seatbelts save lives. Let's move on. What is the penalty for a first DUI conviction in Mississippi for drivers 21 or older? Fines, license suspension, and possible jail time. DUI carries severe legal consequences. What about this next one? When parking uphill with a curb, in what direction should you turn your wheels? Away from the curb. This ensures if your vehicle rolls, it will roll into the curb, not into traffic. On to the next question. What does a railroad crossing sign typically look like? A round yellow sign with an X and two R's. This warns you of an approaching railroad track. Moving forward, when should you use your high beam headlights? On open highways where no other vehicles are approaching or ahead of you. Use them to maximize visibility when it won't blind others. Let's consider the next one. What is the correct procedure for making a right turn? Signal, check traffic, slow down, and turn into the lane closest to the curb. Always turn into the closest lane. And the next point. What is the legal stopping distance from a railroad crossing when a train is approaching? At least 15 feet, but no more than 50 feet. Maintain a safe distance from the tracks. What's next? What does a yield sign require you to do? Allow traffic in the intersecting roadway to go first. You must defer to cross traffic. Moving on to this, what is the no zone for large trucks? Blind spots around the front, back, and sides of a truck where the driver cannot see you. Stay out of these areas to avoid being hit. All right, let's see. What must you do when merging onto a freeway? Accelerate to the speed of traffic, find a gap, and merge safely. Match speed to blend seamlessly into traffic flow. What's after this? What does a red circle with a slash through it on a road sign mean? Do not or no. It indicates a prohibition. Next question. What does a broken yellow line on the roadway indicate? Separates lanes traveling in opposite directions, and passing is permitted when safe. You can pass when conditions allow. Let's get to this one. What is the minimum following distance you should maintain behind a motorcycle? At least 4 seconds, as motorcycles can stop faster than cars. Give motorcycles extra space. Okay, what's next? What is the proper procedure if your vehicle starts to skid due to overbraking? Release the brake, turn the steering wheel in the direction of the skid, and reapply brakes gently if necessary. Steer into the skid to regain control. Moving on. What is the purpose of regulatory signs? To tell you what you must or must not do. These signs enforce traffic laws. So what's next? What are the color and shape of a stop sign? Red octagon. It's instantly recognizable worldwide. Next on our list, what should you do when you encounter a blind person with a white cane or guide dog crossing the street? Yield the right-of-way and stop completely until they have crossed. Pedestrians with disabilities always have the right-of-way. Okay, what's after this? When driving in fog, what headlights should you use? Low beam headlights. High beams will reflect off the fog and worsen visibility. Let's move on. What does a pedestrian crossing sign typically look like? A yellow diamond with a person walking. This warns you to watch for pedestrians. What about this next one? What does it mean if you see a driver extending their left arm straight out? They intend to turn left. This is a hand signal for a left turn. On to the next question. What does a solid white line on the roadway indicate? Marks the edge of the roadway or separates lanes where lane changes are discouraged. It indicates where lanes should not be crossed. Moving forward, what is the primary difference between a Class D and a Class R license in Mississippi? Class D is for light commercial vehicles under 26,000 pounds requiring a commercial license, while Class R is for standard private passenger vehicles. Class D is for specific non-commercial, heavy-duty vehicles. Let's consider the next one. What is the legal speed limit in a municipal city, business, or residential district in Mississippi unless otherwise posted? 30 miles per hour. Slow down in populated areas. And the next point, what should you do if your gas pedal gets stuck? Shift to neutral, apply brakes, steer safely off the road, and turn off the engine. This allows you to stop safely. What's next? What is the move over law in Mississippi? Requires drivers to move over or slow down when approaching a stopped emergency vehicle with flashing lights. This protects emergency personnel on the roadside. Moving on to this, what color are warning signs? Yellow. Yellow signs always indicate a warning. All right, let's see. What is the most common cause of traffic collisions? Driver error. Most accidents are preventable. What's after this? What does a white rectangular sign with black lettering usually indicate? Regulatory information, e.g., speed limit, no turns. These signs give you rules to follow. Next question. What should you do if you are involved in a collision with a parked vehicle and cannot find the owner? Leave a note with your contact information. It's your legal and ethical responsibility. Let's get to this one. What is the purpose of traffic signals? To control the flow of traffic and prevent collisions. Signals keep intersections orderly and safe. Okay, what's next? When must you yield to pedestrians in a crosswalk? Always, regardless of whether a crosswalk is marked or unmarked. Pedestrians always have the right of way in a crosswalk. Moving on. What does a do not enter sign signify? You are not allowed to enter that roadway or ramp. This prevents you from going against the flow of traffic. So, what's next? If you are under 21 and have a learner's permit in Mississippi, how long must you hold it before you can get a full license? 12 months or until your 17th birthday, whichever comes first. This supervised period helps young drivers gain experience. And that wraps up our study session for the Mississippi Class D license test. Keep reviewing these rules, and you'll be well prepared to drive safely and confidently in Mississippi. Good luck.